What's going on, everybody? I am Winston A. Marshall, aka the Swaggy Blurred, and this is my spoiler review and discussion of Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, if this is your first time here, please be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a like on this if you enjoy the content, man. And definitely be sure to get in the comments and let me know what you think. Now, again, it's on the title, it's on the thumbnail. I'm saying it one more time. This is a spoiler discussion. So, if you have not seen the movie, if you do not want it spoiled for you, then don't watch this right now. Go watch the movie first, come back and check out what I have to say and let me know if you agree and whatnot. And if you don't care, you've already seen it, then great, you're in the right place. Be sure to let me know what you think in the comments when this is all said and done. So I talked about in my non-spoiler about Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, and Sean Levy really putting their heart and soul and their love into this. I want to give just some major examples about what I mean by that. So, like, first of all, we got a beautiful send-off, obviously, in Logan from Hugh Jackman. I can't think of a more perfect way to say goodbye to a character that she had played for all that time, to really just like give it a great send-off. What I think was really well done in this particular movie to bring him back in, there was an acknowledgement of what it meant not only for the films, for what that character did for Hugh, but also something that's missing. There's that feeling that you hear athletes talk about all the time when they go into retirement. There's just something that's pulling at them and they can't help it. And it's obviously been a while since Logan. Logan came out in 2017. So it's been 7 years since we last saw Hugh in the role. But all that being said, the one thing that I thought that was very interesting was this felt like when Michael Jordan or Brady came out of retirement just for a little bit. The only difference is when Jordan did it, and when Brady did, when they came out of retirement, they both shit the bed. Like, they weren't very good. Brady came back for 1 year to lose his marriage and end up just moving on. Jordan on the Wizards was not the same Michael Jordan. The difference here is this was a revisiting to a character, and Hugh was at his absolute best. And I think the thing that was so interesting is there was a lot of talk about regret. Obviously, the conversation about him always being like, I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want to stand up for it, for the X-Men and all that. And they all ended up getting killed on his world, this Logan that we're following. And so we ended up in a situation where, you know, a lot of regrets, a lot of drinking, just couldn't really get over stuff. And I think a lot of us look back on our lives sometimes and we wonder, could we have made better decisions? Should we have made different decisions? Did we lose out on time with family and friends? Did we do something that was completely unfixable because we just didn't do the right thing?
I'm about to lose everything that I've ever cared about. Not my fucking problem. Is that what you said when your world went to shit?
I think that there was a lot of interesting diving thoughts into that. I think there was a couple of great montages. I think one of my favorites has to be Deadpool's search quest for a new anchor character, anchor hero, or whatever they said, anchor figure. Can't remember exactly what it was called. And so you got to see all the various Wolverines. So you got a proper size 5'3" Wolverine. The one specifically in the tuxedo with the eye patch, known as Patch, actually is like a fun alternative as well. The favorite, other than the one we get out of Hugh, obviously, that it becomes our main character, has gotta be Henry Cavill. I was not fucking ready for that. I was going back and forth. Who might they throw in there? So throwing in Henry Cavill was awesome. I'm so happy for him. That was a hilarious line of like, I'm sorry for how they treated you across the street. We treat you better. That was fucking hilarious. So props to Ryan for reaching out to Henry and giving him that opportunity and putting him up like that. I think that was absolutely awesome. And that doesn't necessarily exclude Henry Cavill from still doing anything else in the MCU, in my opinion. I think that was just kind of that one nod off one way or the other. Continuing with cameos, and then I'll come back to Deadpool, the character, and some of the other things I wanted to talk about. Okay, so knew about Jennifer Garner, obviously coming back as Elektra. That I want to say, honestly, her performance in this really took what left a bad taste in my mouth for Elektra and seeing the movie for the first time no more than a week ago. Really being like, I see why this movie was rated so poorly. Not only did you get to see the fun in the montage thing at the end that she was having with the film, and that brought a little bit more life and vigor to it, but the main theme for so many of these characters is a proper goodbye, a proper send-off. And I thought she was fantastic reprising the role, both in her action, which was awesome, but I think that there was some more depth. I actually believed her being a grizzled, tired, like, assassin. I didn't always buy it watching Elektra because again, as I said in my Elektra CPT review, that it felt at times that I was talking to the lady that's trying to sell me a credit card.
There's no crying in baseball or with the Capital One Venture card because it lets you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every day.
Versus this, I felt her being like, I'm gonna kill somebody. And I even think that there was a comment about, if I remember correctly, and maybe I'm making this up, but there was a comment. There was, because somebody was talking about it. There was a comment about Daredevil and him dying or whatever. It's like, it's fine, who cares? I thought that was really funny to have the meta about Ben Affleck, because obviously that's where Jennifer and Ben really started to hit it off, was doing Daredevil and Elektra. So to see her be like, yeah, it's fine, was hilarious. Wesley Snipes' Blade, fucking amazing. And some of the lines, including like, there's only ever been one me, and that's all there ever is gonna be. That shit was hilarious. Knowing, for those that are, most of you that are watching this are probably aware, but knowing that Blade has been in a lot of trouble production-wise and not getting off the ground with Mahershala Ali, and obviously Wesley was kind of hurt that he wasn't able to continue on with Blade, that they didn't come to him for that for the MCU, but I thought that was a really funny, tongue-in-cheek, very meta moment there as well. Now this, if I had to rank it, it's hard to say which one I like more. I mean, some of the other cameos you got, obviously you got Pyro, bringing him back, that was really cool. I think number 2 on the list for me has to be Chris Evans, where we thought we were getting a Captain America cameo, and you even kind of had, there was a lot of stuff leading up to it, like his sleeve, like look, it was blue and red, and so Deadpool being like, oh, say it, he's gonna say it, Avengers Assemble, and instead he says Flame On, and he's Johnny Storm, which I gotta give props to Coy. I don't think I said anything myself, but Coy Jean-Drew apparently on Collider years ago, when the talks of this ever happening was coming up, said that he thinks that it'll be Chris Evans coming back with playing Johnny Storm, and he did, and it was awesome. I think that that's a beautiful way to bring back Chris without feeling like you undid anything from his final moments in Endgame and things like that. If you're going to end up in a situation where he shows up, you save that for Secret Wars, and we find a way to do that. But the number 1 cameo is by far and away Channing Tatum. I'm sorry. I just, he absolutely killed it. Obviously, Daphne Keane is in that, but we knew about that already. X-23, I talked about that earlier. But Channing Tatum was fan-fucking-tastic. It had me dying at the fact that he did a significantly better Cajun accent than Taylor Kitsch did, because he didn't really focus on a Cajun accent, he focused on a Southern accent. It did go in and out every now and again because it's a hard accent to learn. So it's funny that obviously, as Deadpool is known to do, he's going to call everything out, and he called that out. I even love the fact that like they made sure his powers made more sense this time. So he really is throwing the cards with accuracy and things like that. Even at one point where it looks like he's kind of doing some sort of like telekinesis, not really. It's more like he's just kind of the way people might flip cards up, and then he's quick with the draw. I thought that that was so cool. Comic accurate costume as well. Awesome team to have go up in one of the final battles, not the final battle, but one of them. It was just so good. I was a little confused about some things. Surprised that you could just take Sabretooth's head off. That wasn't something I was expecting. I'm surprised that you could just cut the Juggernaut's legs off. Also not something that I was expecting. Didn't think that that was something that could happen. So there's that. For all the people who are asking about the mask, I didn't bring that. I didn't respond to that, obviously. We got to see Wolverine wear his mask too, which was really cool, and that was a moment. But I think the thing that stuck with me the most, I wouldn't say I'm going through like a midlife crisis at all, because that's not it. But I am at a stage where I am still in my career. I've do a lot more like hosting, a lot of podcasting and stuff like that. But as far as like, as far as acting goes, the strike did a number on me. I'm just gonna give a little insight on myself. The strike did a number on me, and so did breaking my leg. And so I had to kind of take some time away, and I still act and I still have auditions and stuff, but not to the same level as I used to, just because for the time being, I need to make sure that I'm still able to provide for myself and provide for my family and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna be proposing pretty soon, stuff like that. So I really need to make sure that I feel sound at this age and stuff like that. And so there was a moment in particular, like I'll just being really honest here, during the leg break and during the strike, like I had some very serious talks with my lady, and the conversation was about like, you know, nobody's asking you to quit your dream and the career that you've worked so hard for and had success with, but like, what is the next step if, you know, the industry never fully recovers? And one of the big fears and nightmares that I've had, and I've talked about with my therapist, is about, sorry if I'm getting a little too honest here, was just about what does the next step look like? What does an alternative look like if I do need to step away and all I do from now on is maybe like podcast and do this YouTube channel, but then I focus my other energies on something else, if that's ultimately what the space that we get to. So there was the storyline for Wade to know that Vanessa left him because it felt like he just kind of floundered after not getting into the Avengers. He just didn't really have a purpose anymore, and losing her, what that meant, and him struggling with that the whole time and fighting for his friends and his chosen family. But in that moment, him really thinking on her and doing anything he could he would sacrifice himself if he had to in order to save her and to be with her. I started getting pretty emotional in that scene when both Logan and Wade gave up everything to save others. Ended up working out in their favor, obviously, and I think probably because they both took like some of that burden on. I think if one of them had done it by themselves, they probably would have died. But in this case, because they did it together. But I say all that to say, to see Wade process all that, to see Logan process all that, and do whatever sacrifice you needed to for your family to show that you love them and that you would do anything for them. It really hit home. It hit a very personal nerve for me. I say all that to say I'm not giving up or anything like that. I've got a really very personal project that I wrote that's going on. I'm also doing a lot more of comedy stuff outside of just waiting for auditions. I'm making sketches and doing stand-up again and stuff like that. Again, sorry for all the personal jib jab. This is part of what I wanted to talk about because it kind of hit me. So I do appreciate, I've been doing my own way of doing it. I just may not end up in a more traditional stance by the time it's all said and done. And I just really appreciated thematically that conversation. I don't even think that they obviously don't know my life. They weren't trying to do that, but I think that is a conversation that a lot of people are having in this economy nowadays and the state of the world. Like, we might have to make some pretty big sacrifices in order to protect our loved ones, in order to keep those that are important to us in our life, and to remind you to always keep not only like passion and dreams, but keep like a purpose. You know what I'm saying? And keep an ambition and keep that hunger and continue to protect those that are important to you. That to me is the big theme that kind of came out of this, including the fact that Cassandra ended up being evil because she was not treated as human from jump, even though she obviously had the powers. That they found a way to humanize her like that. She became that person because she was treated as subhuman, and that's one of the main things that has always been a focus of any mutant story. Is that mutants are not treated as humans, and Logan talks about that and how he didn't protect everybody is because, they wanted him to stay. He refused to do it. He wouldn't wear the costume. He went to go get drunk because he was just a loner like that, and horrible people did horrible things to his family, and then he went apeshit and went berserker like we've never seen, where he didn't just kill bad people, he killed everybody. And then people just started hating the X-Men and mutants across the board more so than they already did because he just lost it. So, last little thing I'll say, Ryan Reynolds, when you really talk about someone who is an expert at marketing, when you talk about somebody who is genuinely very passionate about everything he puts his hands on, any project that he gets in, and he's also not above attacking himself in order to get a good laugh out. He attacks everybody, and not in like a horrible, negative, like undercutting type of way, but the fact that he, called out the proposal, the fact that he did the full NSYNC dance during the opening sequence. You can just see a genuine love and passion. I said this before, and I see it, I'm coming back at it again, and it was just a wonderful masterclass to watch. This is the type of shit that makes people want to become storytellers, actors, writers, directors. This is the kind of passion in this project that will do that, and it will remind you to keep pushing and going forward. As I mentioned before, I give it a 4.7. I hope by the time I'm recording this the same night of the screening, just so it's done. If you can't tell me, wearing the same shit and all that. But I'm hoping I get a chance to see it again this weekend, just because of how great it was. And if I gotta be honest, I think that the movie will clear $1 billion. I don't think that'll be a problem. If I had to guess, I would say it'll probably just hit around 1.5. I don't think it has the legs to go 2. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that it can go, Spider-Man No Way Home distances, and that nostalgia and how good this movie is something that could do that. But I'll be as middle of the road with a prediction that I think it'll hit around 1.5. Let's call it 1.58 billion is what I think we'll end up with. But with all of that said, I'm trying to think if there's anything else important that I wanted to talk about. I hit all the cameos. We said Wesley, Jennifer, Channing, guy that plays Pyro, obviously Chris Evans as Johnny instead, which that whole thing about what he said about Cassandra being true in the post-credit fucking killed me. All of that was fantastic. Dogpool was funny. Good Pool was funny. I thought Blake Lively for a second was tricking everybody because it sounded like with her first line she was doing a Taylor impression, and I was like, is that Taylor? I also thought the Avril song was Taylor for a second because I don't know enough. I've heard that song, but that's played when the van's driving, but I haven't, I didn't know that was Avril Lavigne off the top of my head. But it was just very, very well done. But I want to know what you think. Tell me what you thought about the movie. What's your favorite part, your favorite cameo? Did you actually hate the movie? If that's the case, you can tell me that too. I don't understand why, but you're entitled to your opinion. That's totally fine. Not everything hits for everybody. So let me know what you think, man. And as I mentioned before, if you're new to this channel, if you enjoy the content, if you enjoyed this discussion that I just had, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, man. Hit that notification bell so you know when I'm dropping content. And make sure to leave me a like as well. I would really, really appreciate that. We're getting closer and closer to monetizing this thing, so I appreciate y'all for rocking with me, man. Check out some of the other stuff on here. I recently did a one-off episode of Blurs in the Hood, a little reunion in regards to Biden dropping out of the election with Jay Washington, so that's here on the channel. As well as, I did the Fox Marvel rewatches. I've got other CPT reviews of older movies that, should have seen by now, but I'm just getting around to, so check that out. And I got a lot of comedy on here. Check out Hood Ass Yoga. That's probably one of my favorite sketches I've ever done. I'm gonna have some more sketches coming up on here soon. And on top of that, I've been doing some more stand-up. So if you're in the LA area, definitely keep an eye on my social media. I'm not traveling. I'm not at the point yet where I am traveling to go do comedy, but I am starting to do more and more here in LA. So definitely, if you're in the area, come check me out, man. And then, of course, if you're watching this is my spoiler review. The spoiler discussion for Capes and Cows on Christian's channel will be out tomorrow. We've already done our non-spoiler review, which came out on Friday for Capes and Cows, so check those out as well if you want to kind of hear the banter between all of us talking about it. So that is pretty much it. I've talked for around 20-ish minutes. I've had to clip some stuff out, but, so that should be enough time. But thank you for rocking with me. I appreciate each and every one of you. I will see y'all on the next one. Y'all be safe, man.